Welcome, Mr. Secretary, and kind of in that role, you've had an outstanding career too. You've been secretary, what, 10 of the last 14 years?
Going on 11.
Going on 11. That's pretty amazing to have been around that long in what sometimes is a challenging agency, directing policy. So your imprint is in a lot of places, and I'm impressed and I congratulate you for that. And I know that every administration is different. The Obama administration is certainly different than the Trump administration. And in some ways, the Biden administration is different even than the Obama or Trump administration. But that said, Mr. Secretary, it's always been clear to me that the strongest policies that come out of this committee and the most important programs administered by USDA are built on the belief that support and relief programs must be tied to crop production. When this committee or your agency stray from that principle, we begin to walk down an unsustainable and a very concerning path. When you last appeared before this committee, I raised concerns about your agency's design and implementation of Phase 2 of the Emergency Relief Program for 2021 crop year and called for a return to the ERP Phase 1 methodology. You said that your agency would learn from their experiences during the first iteration of ERP and would factor it into the administration of the next. Well, based on the reports that I'm hearing from my producers in Oklahoma, ERP 2022 has proven to be no better than its predecessor at delivering support to those who suffered the greatest crop losses. So my question to you today is exactly where those lessons your agency learned from the administration of 2021 ERP program, what were those lessons, and how did it change the approach in 2022? And while you're thinking about that, as a follow-up, what has your agency learned from ERP 2022 rollout, and what are some of the changes that we can expect to see in future programs administered?
Well, one change would be for Congress to give us the resources we asked for. I mean, when you give us 30% of what we asked for, when we tell you that the damages are $10 to $12 billion, and you basically appropriate $3 billion, you put us in a tough spot.
But Mr. Secretary, when you change the program so that you screw up the delivery and screw up the 30%, it makes it difficult to come back and ask for the other 70.
It didn't screw up at all. In fact, 82% of producers received more assistance and help than they would have based on what you've articulated.
But my producers back home who actually raise the food and fiber that feed the country, who put the resources on the shelf that the federal credit cards, the SNAP program benefits by, tell me the resources are not going to production where the losses were.
That's not true. That is not true. In fact, I'll be happy to provide you the specific numbers of producers in your state that received benefits in major commodity production.
But, Mr. Secretary, is the goal to give resources to address the disasters by following production, or is the goal to pick out who's actually farming so that those of a preferred category in the rules benefit more from disaster relief than others?
Well, Representative, you can't basically cherry pick one program. You have to look at it in the totality. When you look at all of the resources that your producers received, including the crop insurance payments, the majority of which went to the people you're talking about, which is a very small subset of the producers that we're talking about. So
I know, Mr. Secretary, what my producers are telling me.